presenting Captain Pow from MYEP.
I get to wake you up after TRW's presentation. Cheryl Nostrin, where's Cheryl Nostrin? Please raise your hand. All right, waiters. We have a birthday girl. Where are the waiters? Bring them back. Bring them back. I don't believe this. They've been waiting here all night for my signal. Wong, where are you?
We need 2 or 3.
We're going to get you, Cheryl. Cheryl Nostrand had a birthday this past weekend, and she was not very subtle about making it known throughout the office. Cheryl went so far as to write it on people's calendars so they wouldn't forget. So to commemorate the event, when the waiters eventually return from their break, they're going to sing happy birthday to you in Chinese, Cheryl. Cheryl, if I were the oldest one in the office, I certainly wouldn't be advertising it. But I'm not. Wait a minute, here they go. Come on, guys. We need musical accompaniment right over here. There they are. Bring them in. The young lady over here, raising her hand. That's her. Get it, boys. Thank you very much. I'm just looking forward to next year, Cheryl. Before we go on, I'd also like to extend my thanks to Lieutenant Tom Beck for arranging the festivities for tonight. Tom came back from Christmas vacation on the 4th of January, and I said, congratulations, Lieutenant, you've got 10 days to put together the best going away that BMO has ever seen. And he has. He's done an excellent job, and I'd like to thank him for all the fine efforts he's put in tonight. Now on to the business at hand. For the civilians and contractors and TRW in the office, you may not know, but officers, as a part of their rating, get graded on adaptability to stress. Okay? And it's now my opportunity to thank each of the individuals who are going to give me the opportunity to fill that square on my next rating. So one at a time. First of all, John Conrad. I feel a special kinship with John Conrad. I can't quite put my finger on it, but he and I seem to have something in common that really brings us together, you know? And for that, I'll always remember you, John. John actually is sort of a dinosaur in the office. He's the last remaining relic of the radar-only era. And the guys in the office, especially those of us who were brought up on the optics side, used to love to torque his screws. You know, John would be there pontificating about RF this and digital that, and yeah. And it was just so much fun to walk up to him and say, well, John, what does your 4-bit phase shifter do against an optical threat, you know? And then at that point, you could start to count backwards from 10. Because John would turn bright red, steam would come out of his ears, and he'd screw himself into the ceiling. Okay? It was great fun. What was even more fun, Ralph discovered after one of our earthquakes that if you pound on the walls of our office in just the right way, that for the guy on the other side, it feels like and sounds like a real earthquake. So the great fun in the office was waiting for the earthquakes, okay, and then 5 minutes later collecting on the walls outside of John's office sound the appropriate signal. Everybody would pound to the appropriate rhythm. And John would come running out yelling, "Aftershock! Aftershock!" We got him on more than one occasion. John was a barrel of laughs, let me tell you. But I've got to hand it to John. You know, for those of you who have been in the office and have seen the pictures that we've got on the wall there, of all the launches and the re-entries and the decoys and such, that John Conrad has his name next to more of those pictures than anybody else. And it's going to be an awful long time before anybody can match the record that this gentleman has accomplished in 4 short years at BMO. I'd like to present you, John, with the office plaque, which I hope is first on the stack here. If not, just play along. By the way, Tom Beck also did the artwork on the presentations that we've got tonight. So, John, you did an excellent job. Congratulations on the show. Ralph Mickelson. Ralph Mickelson. Did any of you know that Ralph has an international reputation as an entertainer? Ralph accompanied retiring Colonel Richard Renee on his last TDY to the Far East, Japan, Korea. And you may not be aware that the Japanese have this custom of, after a long, hard day of business, they all get together, the whole group of them, and they go out to a restaurant or nightclub in which the patrons get up and entertain. They sing to their fellow patrons. And Ralph, from what I hear, was among the best that they had ever seen. Ralph, I'd like you to come up here for just a second. Ralph, why don't you give us a few bars of feelings or Edelweiss. Excuse me, sir. Not quite up to it tonight. I've got to lay off those root beers, Ralph.
You should have seen Colonel Renee using that too.
You may not know another thing about Ralph, and that Ralph has a base record. A base speed record. A base indoor speed record. You know, I've heard from you contractors what you go through when you're preparing your proposals and you're answering your questions, you know, and I feel sorry for you. But we go through hell too, okay? One Sunday morning during the pyro source selection, to blow off a little bit of steam, Ralph Mickelson decided to go for broke in the BMO Oval, the BMO Motor Speedway. You know, the long hallway that we've got in the building. It's a 1/4 mile long, and on a bicycle, you can really work up a head of steam. Ralph Mickelson broke the speed limit, the base speed limit on his bicycle in that hallway at nearly 27 miles per hour, without regard for life or limb. This madman went blazing down the hallways yelling, "Watch out!"
Who came in second?
I don't know. Ralph, come up here, please. Ralph Mickelson, on a more serious note, has literally revolutionized our understanding of an entire class of countermeasures. The pyrotechnic countermeasures, for those of you who are versed in that area, you know, is our only hope against the endo threat. And in the course of this program, Ralph really has shed new light, no pun intended, on that entire method of optical augmentation. Ralph, on behalf of the division, I present you with the division plaque, and I wish you well in your future endeavors.